It's a beautiful Thursday morning. I'd like to welcome you to the Bumper Breakfast Show on MITV. Well, how was Christmas for you out there? For me, it was family time, like Yinka, Kenny and I discussed last week, Thursday. It was time to stay at home and bond with the family. Well, not too many of them are at home these days, but, somehow we're able to get together again, spend quality time. It was time to reflect. It was time to reach out to people, who really need some sort of assistance or the other. It's not necessarily monetary assistance. Some just want to hear a word from you, a call, something to encourage them that all hope is not lost. I'm delighted to be here this morning. I'm expecting Yinka Kenny. She'll be here in a very short time. But before she comes, we'll look at what the newspapers are saying in their headlines. This morning, I'm looking at the Punch, and it says PDP threatens sanctions as G5 governors meet Tinubu in UK. APC presidential candidate intensifies lobby. Obi banks on Obasanjo's backing. It is too late in the day to go back to Atiku. Reconciliation failed, says source. Governors on vacation. They risk being disciplined for anti-party activities. PDP. Defense health gets lion's share. National Assembly passes 21.8 trillion budget. NLC gives Buhari conditions for new minimum wage. And Calabar deaths, this is a very interesting one. The Cross River PDP lampoons Ayade for going ahead with the carnival. Of course, we know by now that there's been some tragedy in Calabar. Unfortunately, a trailer ran into people who were gathered for the Calabar carnival, and the death toll is rising. Unfortunately, we pray for the families of the deceased that God will give them the fortitude to bear the loss, because it was really a sudden one, something that they didn't plan for, and we pray that the souls of the faithful departed will rest in perfect peace. Now the question is, some people are saying that the Cross River government should not have gone ahead with the carnival on that day, because the carnival started late, due to this unfortunate incident. But people say they should just have cancelled it outright. Others think they should have gone ahead with it. What should it have been? We will be opening the lines, somewhere in the program for you to make your contribution. So if you're watching, we just ask you to sit back, relax, because you will be part of the show. That's for sure. The deserter trained 1,000 IPOB fighters killed Gulag. Police. Reps demand justice for lawyers slain by policemen. And car explosion kills 7 Lagos residents heading for revival. It's one thing or the other. Accidents here, accidents there, and everything. It's always, on the rise during the festive season. But we will always keep our fingers crossed, and we must be more careful. We really must concentrate on the roads when we're driving. It's quite unfortunate that we have these incidents. The Federal Road Safety have come out to say that they are there for us. So we're hoping that things will go better for the new year. That's the headline on the Punch newspapers. The Nigerian Tribune, uproar in Senate over Buhari's request to approve 22.7 trillion already spent. Senators allege constitutional infraction by president. Seek extension of CBN deadline on old Naira notes from January to June 31st, and that you can find on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune. National Assembly passes 21.8 trillion 2023 budget. You must remain political, Buhari tells military. You can find that story on page 8 of the Nigerian Tribune. Adeleke suspends consultant, orders probe, disbands mining JTF. That you will find on page 15 of the Nigerian Tribune. Suspected herdsmen invade Ondo communities, sack farmers, kidnap residents. Well, we thought we were getting to the end of this, but let's keep our fingers crossed and hope that the appropriate authorities would be proactive on this one. We don't want these things to continue, and we're hoping that with a new dispensation coming in, things would be different, as we go along. Now, how Gulak was killed? Police. IGP recommends suspension of ASP who killed Lagos lawyer. Reps probe killing, want police banned from consuming alcohol and abusing drugs. Well, I think that would help a whole lot. But how do you monitor them? That's the question. I mean, it's good enough to say you're banning the drinking of alcohol and taking of your usage of drugs, but how do you monitor these people? I mean, how large can the monitoring team be? That's the question. So we just hope that in their good consciences, they will find a place in their heart for remorse. And we're keeping our fingers crossed on that as well. Uproar in Okowa urges Nigerians to join PDP to end suffering. It's a political dispensation anyway, so we expect everything and anything. Oni versus Oyebanji, anxiety in Ekiti as tribunal delivers judgment today. You can find that story on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune. Afenifere B rates NICOM over 20% hike in insurance fee. That you will find on page 8 as well in the Nigerian Tribune. Highlight of the budget: 8.3 trillion for recurrent non-debt expenditure, 5.9 trillion for capital expenditure, 6.5 trillion for debt service, 967 billion for statutory transfers. ASU strike, FEC members sabotaged Gbajabiamila's peace agreement. Falana. Speaker did not commit to offset arrears of salaries over ASU members, Rep spokesman. These are the headlines for the Nigerian Tribune newspapers. You want to go out and buy if you are interested in any of the stories. This is the Nation newspaper, and National Assembly raises budget 2023 by 1.32 trillion. Ohanaeze President Obiozor dies at 80. Wike, Makinde, others foreclose support for Atiku. G5 governors reject peace offer from southern leaders. Reps tackle ASU president over claim on Gbajabiamila. Buhari's Oshibajo, Bichi's son in Tinubu campaign. IG orders suspension of killer ASP. New Naira notes, Senate urges CBN to shift deadline to June 30th. That's the nation for you. Those are the headlines in the Nigerian dailies today. We will take a break, and when we come back, we'll look at the news recap. Please stay tuned.
ọmọ ìlú ní gómìnà kan ìṣẹ̀yà Jídé Adédìran ọpọlọ òfin líle máṣu máa tán ó tó gẹ́ Jandor dé ọmọ Èkó ṣe kò fẹ́ra má nílùú Èkó mọ́.
Àbí Èkó wa kọ́ rèé tí gbogbo wa jẹ́ alẹ́nu lọ́rọ̀ nígbà kan kíkun Èkó lọ́dà ò tó wọn à ń jó sí dandan ní ìfọ̀kànbalẹ̀ ará ìlú. Dr. Ọlájídé Adédìran kájú ẹ̀ Jandor for governor kí gbogbo ọ̀nà ṣe rìn fọ́kọ̀ ọrọ̀ ajé tí ò ní pákánleke. Ẹ jẹ́ ká fi ìbò dídì gbara wa lọ́wọ́ ogun gbódò ńrọ́ṣọ. Ẹ jẹ́ ká gbárùkù ti Dr. Jídé Adédìran àti Fúnkẹ́ Akíndélé sí ipò gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó àti igbákejì lábẹ́ àsíá ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú PDP fún ìdàgbàsókè àti ìlọsíwájú tó péye. Vote Jandor for Lagos Governor 2023.
PDP, power to the people.
Àwọn Friends of Lagos ló ṣe onígbọ̀wọ́ ìkéde yìí.
Getting together for the first time in years was a little bit awkward. Grandpa still tried to entertain us. Mom was always stealing the spotlight from the kids. It wasn't until Grandma cracked a joke
That's my favorite prayer.
that we got back into our groove. In this festive, DSTV is making family time even better with an upgrade.
Stay connected to DSTV and we'll upgrade you to the next package for free.
You're welcome back to the Thursday edition of the Bumper Breakfast Show. We will be taking the news recap now. With barely 8 weeks to the 2023 presidential elections, President Muhammadu Buhari on Wednesday warned security agencies to ensure behavior that could compromise the democratic process. He said those involved in handling sensitive election materials must uphold a high sense of professionalism in discharging their duties. President Muhammadu Buhari said this when he inaugurated the Defense Intelligence Agency's newly acquired estate in Udu Karmo in Abuja.
Expecting about 420 armor fighting vehicles in Guard Brigade. That has never happened in the history of Guard Brigade. It will really help to secure Abuja, Nasarawa State, which is our AOR also, and parts of Niger State. It will also help the army, as the COAS told me in his office. I also want to thank the Minister of FCT, our governor, for also giving us enabling environment to operate, Your Excellency. And I also want to thank my excellently able COAS, Cho Army staff and Cho Air staff for all their direction, their guidance, and their support to Guard Brigade. I also want to thank every member of the Villa community for all the cooperation we have received so far, and I know the cooperation will continue. The one thing that I'm very happy about is that what the President approved for us will be mostly enjoyed by those coming behind us. That is leadership for me, at least. It will help to secure Abuja, as I've said earlier on. Also, on my own, we are we are already constructing accommodation for 20 officers of Guard Brigade. 12 of those officers will stay in 2-bedroom self-contained flat, while the remaining 8 officers will stay in 1-bedroom self-contained flat accommodation. Right now, we are already roofing the accommodation. I believe one day it will be completed. That is another achievement I will say we have achieved, sir. Time is fast spent. Once more, I really thank the President. We shall continue to remain loyal to Mr. President and the constitutional authority, because we know our loyalty will go a long way in providing other people's enabling environment to play their own role. Once more, thank you, Mr. President. I'm grateful.
Yinka Kenny joins me on the Bumper Breakfast Show this morning. Yinka, you're welcome.
Yeah, good to be here once again this morning on the beautiful Thursday. So we go on with the news recap, and we go straight to the presidency right now. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari Wednesday heaped praises on the newly promoted Commander Brigade of Guards, Major General Mohammed Usman, describing him as an outstanding officer who is serving the nation with great zeal. Assisted by the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya, and the wife of the commander, pharmacist Dr. Rekia Usman, President Buhari decorated the officer with the rank of Major General. He commended General Usman for his diligence, loyalty, patience, and hard work. Okay, Tom.
The National Assembly has passed the 2023 appropriation bill at 21.83 trillion, showing an increase of 1.32 trillion from the 20.51 trillion budget proposal of President Muhammadu Buhari. A breakdown of the budget indicates an allocation of 967.5 billion for statutory transfers, 6.6 trillion for debt servicing, 8.3 trillion for recurrent expenditure, and 5.9 trillion for capital expenditure. The two houses of the National Assembly effected the passage of the budget on Wednesday.
It is important to state that the committee worked harmoniously with the executive arm of government and its counterpart in the House of Representatives in the processing of this bill, which ensured the collaboration of the National Assembly and the executive arm of government in the discovery and utilization of additional revenue projections to fund or improve the funding of some critical projects such as INEC, National Population Commission, Nigerian Army, and other security agencies. Through the harmonious appropriation process, the executive submitted for funding some items of expenditure to the committee which were not included in the bill as submitted by the President or received inadequate funding. The areas that received these new funding include Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Science and Technology, Ministry of Health, National Population Commission, Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Nigerian Navy, Nigerian Army, National Institute for Security Studies, the Nigerian Police Force, Ministry of Aviation, and New National Steel Council, among others.
I want to take this opportunity to urge the executive arm of government to implement the 2022 Appropriation Act. We have also passed the supplementary budget for 2022. We expect total implementation, no selective implementation. It should be total because this has been what this administration has always tried to do since we came in 2019. And therefore, the country and the people are better for it that the budgets are implemented. Let me also commend the Senate and indeed the National Assembly for the innovation, together with the executive arm of government, of passing finance bills which always guide the implementation of the appropriations that we pass. Previously, that was not the practice. I'm sure this is a worthwhile, very rewarding practice, and it will continue. The special committee to be chaired by the Senate leader, Senator Ibrahim Abdullahi Gobir, has Finance Committee, Appropriations, Debt, Foreign and Local Debt, Banking and Finance, to invite all the necessary, the MDAs, including CBN, to come with all the necessary documents to prove approvals and expenditures done previously. And you return the report to the Senate when we resume on the 17th of January 2023 for consideration.
And its attended consequences on the roads, bridges, farmlands, and water sector necessitated the supplementary appropriation bill. MDS involved in the supplementary appropriation bill's requests are Foreign Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, Foreign Ministry of Works and Housing, Foreign Ministry of Water Resources. The Appropriation Committee, having considered the detailed provisions of the bill, the contribution of its subcommittee, and general impact it makes in ameliorating the havoc caused by flood across the country, and recommended the following for various MDS. The bill for an act to issue the consolidated revenue fund the sum of 819,536,937,813 naira only. The Federal Ministry of Agriculture was 69 billion, Federal Ministry of Works and Housing 704, Federal Capital Territory 30 billion, and Federal Ministry of Water Resources 15.5 billion.
All right, still on the budget, the National Assembly onwards passed the 2022 supplementary budget of 819.5 billion naira, which President Muhammadu Buhari asked and to be financed through additional domestic borrowing. The supplementary budget is to address food security following devastating floods across the country, as well as damages to road infrastructure and water sector. The supplementary budget is to be funded by additional borrowing and will increase the budget deficit to 8.17 trillion naira.
The supplementary appropriation which we are about to approve will not be implemented if we don't extend the lifespan of the budget. This is dry season now. Contractors will have enough time to mobilize to the site and achieve significant milestone. Our roads are in bad shape, particularly because of the very serious and unprecedented flooding we had this year. Quite a number of bridges are broken. Major roads have been washed away.
The worries of most senators is that our projects are not funded. So, Mr. President, by this extension, I would want to appeal to you to invite the minister concerned, of course, the Minister of Finance, so that in the extension and the releases that will follow, projects, constituency projects of senators should also be funded, so that we're not just approving the extension and then what we've put in the budget for our constituent is not reflected in the implementation. Otherwise, I think this is timely, and I urge our colleagues to support the extension so as to enable the implementation of the 2022 budget.
90 days, Mr. President, for advertisement, for selection of contractors, and even if it's agreed that some of the projects are ongoing, let's agree that it is ongoing. That means that these monies will have to be spent within 90 days. 90 days. It's not possible. Let's not deceive ourselves. Why don't we amend the 2023 budget, take care of these projects so that they will have 12 months of implementation? We are passing the budget most likely today. Now, this whole thing that the committee did can now be incorporated into, can be considered as supplementary budget or budget amendment for 2023.
Even in 2023 budgets, 2022 budget, which we are currently implementing, there are projects there that will last 2 years. There are projects there that will last 3 years. And we cannot say because of the 90 days extension of this year's budget, we should jettison this provision which we have provided to take care of an emergency. I want to say this, my dear colleague. 2023 budget, yes, is around the corner to be passed. But in the same vein, 2022 is still ongoing. And all that have happened in 2022. And if there are new sources to intervene on the plight of our people who have been involved in this perennial flooding, I think it will not be out of place.
Maybe the timing is very short. Maybe what we will have done, instead of passing the earlier extension we did, we should have taken this one, maybe, and maybe extend it to maybe the 5 months, the remaining 5 months of the lifetime of this administration. I am sure more things will be done. But I think we have not closed yet. If we are implementing it, and then we have a hiccup, we can come back here and extend the time by 1 or 2 months.
The proposed 2022 appropriation supplementary budget submitted to National Assembly for consideration, as well as recent 2022 appropriation capital releases to MDS, are unlikely to be utilized before December 31st, 2022, due to the late release of the funds, which will lapse if the capital implementation is not extended beyond December 31st, 2022. In the light of the above, the National Assembly is requested to kindly amend the 2022 Act expiration clause to reflect March 31st, 2023 for the capital component only.
Still on the National Assembly, the House of Representatives on Wednesday resolved to investigate the murder of a female lawyer identified as Bolanle Rahim by a police officer attached to the Ajiwe Police Command in Lagos. Sponsors of the motion, Representative Ibrahim Obanikoro, expressed worry that the deceased is the second person shot this month by officers from the Ajiwe Police Division in Ajah, Lagos. He prayed the House to, as a matter of urgency, investigate the matter and recommend that police officers be banned from consuming alcohol as a matter of principle.
That on Sunday, December 25th, 2022, Mrs. Rahim and her family were returning from church when they were pulled over in Ajah area by officers of the Nigerian police. Without any altercation, one of the officers, ASP Drambi Vandi, aimed at and pulled his trigger, killing Mrs. Rahim on the spot. Mrs. Rahim was 7 months pregnant with twins. Mr. Speaker, concerned that the same incident happened earlier in the month, 7th of December to be precise, by officers from the same Ajiwe police station, gunned down a young man by the name Gafaru Braimo, which sparked a bit of civic unrest. Mr. Speaker, worried that this type of occurrence happens often across Nigeria and that the officers usually get away with shooting and killing same innocent citizens they swore to protect.
The motion, I believe this was your constituency, and the gruesome murder of the young lady has been public front burner in the last couple of days. Indeed, very, very unfortunate. I think straightforward enough. Your prayers are straightforward. We'll just put the question. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. You asked for a minute silence, so we'll do the 1 minute silence. May the soul of late Mrs. Rahim rest in peace.
Okay. Yes, still politics right now. The People's Democratic Party the People's Democratic Party (PDP) Presidential Campaign Council has been inaugurated in Ekiti State. Correspondent Abidemi Sikiru reports that the governorship candidate of the party in the same on the 18th of June gubernatorial election in the state, BC Kolawole and some notable members shone the inauguration. His report.
There are strong indications that all might not be well with the People's Democratic Party (PDP) in Ekiti State, as some notable personalities that have made up the Presidential Campaign Council were conspicuously absent at the inauguration of the Presidential Campaign Council in Ado-Ekiti, the state capital. Prominent among the names on the PCC list were governorship candidates of the party in the June 18 governorship election in Ekiti State, BC Kolawole, who also doubles as the PCC chairman, senatorial candidate of the party Ekiti Central, Latif Ajijola, senatorial candidate of the party in Ekiti North, Funsho Ayeni, and House of Representative candidate of the party in Ekiti Central Federal Constituency 2, Liri Olayinka. Inaugurating the campaign council, Sokoto State Governor Aminu Tambuwa, who was represented by former Southwest Zonal Chairman of the party, Dr. Edi Olafeso, charged members to work for peace to defeat their opponent.
The challenges facing Nigeria today is not what it was in 2015. There are too many things that has actually set Nigeria, far apart from the rest of the world. And that's exactly what the people must fight for. And that's the reason why what they must do to ensure that the APC government that connived to destroy this country will not be given the chance again to bury it.
Speaking at the event, acting chairman of the council, Ogundipe Makanjola, and other members said that what is required is the unalloyed commitment to the winning of the presidential election in the next 2 months.
It is a great mischief for anybody to say this council is not properly consulted. We want to know that a tree will never make a forest. When you are campaigning for an elective election, please don't exonerate nobody.
The PDP, we have our own internal mechanism of resolving internal conflicts. So you can be rest assured that any apparent internal conflicts now will definitely be a thing of the past. We are all going to work together.
If the people are willing and are very ready to vote article en masse, and the process has started today in earnest, and we know by the grace of God, it shall end. The president Nigerians will smile, Nigerians will be happy, and Atiku Abubakar will emerge the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
The inauguration was attended by many People's Democratic Party (PDP) loyalists in all the 16 local government areas of Ekiti State. From Ado-Ekiti, the Ekiti State capital, Abidemi Sikiru, MITV News.
Welcome back to the Bumper Breakfast Show. I'm so glad that Yinka Kenny is here. Yinka Kenny, you know, I was reading the headline review this morning, and one of the stories that really touched me is the Calabar Carnival.
Yeah.
And, you know, while you and I were discussing off camera, you said you had discussed it, you know, during the week on the Bumper Breakfast Show. But I think it's something we should touch on today, you know. What do you think? Do you think with what had happened, because this happened before the carnival actually took off, do you think they should still have gone ahead with the carnival, or they should have just cancelled it outright?
Okay, we will definitely have this discussion, but I think we should go on a commercial break right now. When we return, we'll talk about it. We have a commercial break right now.
Papa, mama, brother, sister, this Lagos must work for all of us. Everybody da fun Eko.
Oh yes, Lagos people, papa, mama, sister, brother, auntie, plus including uncle them. Better don't land for Lagos State gidigba. Money wey be for Lagos State, then go use them for Lagos State. Wella, no more baba sope. They no go chop Lagos State money. Nobody go pocket Lagos State. Then go take and build Lagos State, build road, build hospital, build houses, and now only one man fit do this job. His name na Abdulaziz Olajide Adediran Jandor. He can't carry one ogbonge person as the deputy governor. Her name na Funke Akindele. My people, wetin we dey wait for? Make we vote for light, vote for change. No be the kind change where dem vote before. This one na the original change. How Amumu don do? Pay dey pay.
Everybody da fun Eko.
Getting together for the first time in years was a little bit awkward. Grandpa still tried to entertain us. Mom was always stealing the spotlight from the kids. It wasn't until Grandma cracked a joke
That's my favorite prayer.
that we got back into our groove. In this festive, DSTV is making family time even better with an upgrade.
Stay connected to DSTV and we'll upgrade you to the next package for free.
Kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ nígboro?
Menene tana gore party a gurinka.
Kò sí akpọ́tọ́ n'obodo. Wetin dey ṣẹlẹ̀?
Wetin dey happen?
As e dey go. Wetin dey ṣẹlẹ̀ my people? Ọdọọdún báyìí ní Saporu, ọdọọdún lè wòrà wà, ọ̀tún lọ́jọ́ yọ, ọ̀tún lòrùn ràn. Ọdọọdún báyìí ní Saporu wè, ọdọọdún lè wòrà wà. Wetin dey ṣẹlẹ̀ for this kind economy? MITV, we are going to dey enjoy the full flesh as e dey happen, as e dey ṣẹlẹ̀, we go dey give you back to back. You know as e dey happen now, as e dey ṣẹlẹ̀, we go dey dish am out for this kind ogbonge economy. MITV, ẹ̀yin tèmi, lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ tún òjèrè, adùn báyìí ní Tóyin, ọ̀tún báyìí lọ́jọ́ yọ, a tún ti balẹ̀ kàṣàgbà síkànnì yìí, ká lè máa fún yín tán lẹ́bàá pé táwọn bá ti dé tán báyìí, ó máa ṣe kíni kó máa sí rírí wẹ̀rẹ̀ níkànnì ni. Wetin dey ṣẹlẹ̀? Wetin dey? Ẹ máa gbádùn ẹ̀ níkànnì yìí, Ọ̀túnba Adédèyàdé ló kọ́ ti. Wetin dey ṣẹlẹ̀?
Welcome back. Yinka Kenny, before that commercial break, we had already talked about the kind of Calabar Carnival. What's your take on it?
Yeah, actually, it's something we've been talking about all through the week. Yeah, and it's actually worth really talking about. We said so much about it yesterday. We talked about the fact that when, yesterday on the show, I made a comparison with the Lagos State Marathon. In cases when we want to have marathon, you realize that the roads that are going to be involved in the race, motorists are told to clear off, the road is closed and all of that. So I think moving on, the Cross River State government should put that into consideration when they want to have the carnival. Places that will be used should be sealed off motorists and all of that. And also I think very good and prompt medical services should be on ground, because where you have a crowd, definitely it can have anything can happen. And just like when I went for our church program on Christmas Day at Teslin Balogun, I was conscious of stampede. I was so conscious of stampede, in the sense that immediately Daddy Gio was making the altar call and everything, I was finding my way out, because I realized that in situations like that, immediately they say be grace, and everybody wants to go at the same time. You cannot avoid a stampede, in situations like that. So I would say that, consciously, subsequently, not only in Cross River State, we have a lot of states where we have carnivals like that. We have Osun Osogbo in Osun State. We have the Eyo festival in Lagos State. And all over. Nigeria is a place that is full of culture. Is a place where we have a lot of variety. Nigeria is an interesting place to be, but we should try not to get disasters out of situations like this. Then what is in the news today is another twist to it. People, PDP, condemning the Cross River State government for still going ahead with the carnival despite what happened. Honestly, I'm in with them on this, because we're talking about lives. Even if it is one life that was lost, I think it's enough for the carnival to be suspended, or probably to be
postponed or something.
I don't know, something, but not that they should just move on or carry on as if nothing happened. Yes, we know that a lot of money was invested into it. We know that a lot of things would have gone into it, but then I would say that nothing is more expensive than one's life. Life is something that is not what we can buy with money. So on this, I'm with people condemning the Cross River State government, and honestly, I really do not see the governor like someone that cannot be touched by feelings. But then at times we do not get these things right. That's why we are human beings, and we keep learning on a daily basis. We keep perfecting everything on a daily basis. And once again, we cannot but say give our heartfelt condolences to people that lost, the families of the people that lost their lives, and also those that are still recuperating. We just pray that they have a speedy recovery in all of this.
Well, I agree with you on that. I think the entire carnival should have been postponed. Nothing is cast in stone, as you just said. Nothing is cast in stone. And yes, so much money had gone into it, but the truth is we can't get these lives back. And how do you want the families of the people who lost their lives to feel? Some of them said they can't even say anything because they don't even know what to do or how to handle the sudden loss of their loved ones. So if one really feels for the citizens. I think somewhere along the line, someone should have advised, the leadership, to postpone the carnival. Yes, I think a postponement would have been better than an outright cancellation. You know what I'm saying? Because of what had gone into it, all the preparations and everything. If it had been postponed 1 month or 1 week later, I mean, everybody would have been in agreement with that, because it's such a great respect, huge respect, I mean, to the souls of the faithful departed, to have postponed the event.
Yes.
So I pray to God that such occurrences are minimized. You can't but have this kind of things, just like you said, especially where there's a huge crowd. But let's pray that we become more aware, we become wiser, and we learn from the mistakes of the past. That should be able to guide us and help us to forge ahead and hold more successful, events like that. A prayer is that,
it's been
the leadership will learn.
The Christmas has been, unfortunately, I don't want to use the word is been black. Honestly, I don't want to use the word black. I really don't want to use, but
it's really been on a low key.
Yes, the country we have experienced with the death of the late lawyer.
Yes.
It's just one tragedy
or the other.
We have also somewhere in the east, the police station being burnt down. It is a lot, a
lot has happened. Yes, and not just the ones that are brought to the public view. Even privately, individually, you find that people people are just going, and it's really scary. It's an awakening call. One should just get up and rise up. And there's a lot of heart failure. Have you noticed that? A lot of people are just going to bed and not waking up. They are falling down. They're just slumping and that's it. A lot. I mean, and it's because of a build-up of stress.
Yes,
there's a lot of stress.
Brings us to the fact that we have to keep hammering it on our viewers, on everybody, that take a rest.
Health checks as well.
Yes, take a rest. Check your health. Honestly, I was down. You were asking me off camera how my Christmas was. Usually, my Christmas day is maybe service in the morning, maybe 2 hours service in the morning, and Christmas day for me is a day to rest. I just usually drive to the family house, my mom, and being pampered. Being pampered, a little bit, but this time around, I was down. I was down, and I wasn't really in the best of health condition, and because of what happened that day, I actually collapsed, and I have the BP machine in my house, and I bought it, early in the year when I was a bit down, and I was advised to, but I've not been doing the regular checks, and I tell you, I've been checking my BP now. I'll check in the morning, I'll check in the afternoon. Once I'm inside the house, I'll check. Once I'm, so we don't have to wait until we break down, until we get to that breaking point. Honestly, a lot of us are guilty of this. A lot of us are guilty of this. We keep saying, okay, like for me, I'll say tomorrow I will rest. Tomorrow will come, something will come. Tomorrow I will rest. But if we can all have it in our subconscious mind that the moment the breath goes,
that's it.
Everything stops.
Everything you want to do,
everything stops. Everything stops. Everything stops.
Everything you want to do just does not wait, but it stops. It's a final. There's a finality to it.
There are some things that we should be conscious about. You can imagine someone like me having the BP machine in the house, and I do not check it frequently. So something had to happen for me to, start checking regularly, check the sugar level, check, this, check that. These are little things we can easily do by ourselves in the house before, it just, it gets out of hand. So we should, and, a lot
That's
of things.
That's not good news for us, though.
It's not.
It's not good news, honestly.
Yeah. So we should, coupled with the driving, the traffic and everything, we just have to be careful,
more conscious of
our health. Honestly, we just have to be.
Oh well, I thought we should throw the lines open to hear what people think about the Calabar Carnival.
Yeah.
And another thing we need to discuss on the program is the shooting. Should we? Let's
go on a break. When we return, we'll throw the lines open. We'll still have a lot for you on the show. We'll talk about the
shooting,
and
that's
the new the
plans for the new year.
Yes,
New Year resolutions and all of that.
Yeah, and the precaution that the House is proposing, for the policemen and all of that. Then we'll talk about something on a light mode. Talk about the new year, your New Year resolution. What are those things you did this year that you don't?
How many people keep to their New Year resolution?
Those things you did.
Yeah, we start well, but someone is like
you don't want to do again and all of that. Let's go. We go on a break. When we return, we have much more for you on the show.
Getting together for the first time in years was a little bit awkward. Grandpa still tried to entertain us. Mom was always stealing the spotlight from the kids. It wasn't until Grandma cracked a joke
That's my favorite prayer.
that we got back into our groove. In this festive, DSTV is making family time even better with an upgrade.
Stay connected to DSTV and we'll upgrade you to the next package for free.
So I just felt like Onawago Kokote Papo. Noma is a good guy. Maybe because me and him don't date together before. Back on the